The walls appear to be closing in on Hillary as bombshell new revelations emerge from the Durham investigation. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest revelations. We're going to see how Durham is officially calling the Russian collusion hoax a conspiracy, and stick to the very end of this video when I'll reveal precisely what has Clinton campaign officials panicking as of today. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. So come on in to your Patriot Professor's Den, where I help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before I dive in here, many of you have been kind enough to ask me how I'm ever able to get any sleep between all the research and videos and tours and events and freedom voting. Well, I'm so glad you asked that, and I'll let you in on a little secret. It's called My Pillow. Every night, I sleep with the best pillows and sheets on the market from my good friend Mike Lindell. And all you need to know is that his company, My Pillow, they've been targeted by cancel culture. They've been kicked out of the box stores and the shopping channels for standing up for the truth. You can help stand up for truth by supporting Mike. You can support Patriots and get the best sleep of your life, not to mention get the lowest price in the history of My Pillow with code Turley. So for example, usually the classic My Pillow is $69.98, but now if you use code Turley, you can get your own classic My Pillow for just $19.98. And that applies to over 200 products in their catalog. So don't wait. Click on that link below to support Mike and My Pillow and get the best sleep of your life, just like I do. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. The walls do appear to be closing in on Hillary Clinton as the Durham investigation reveals more damning evidence that the Clinton campaign did indeed collude with many nefarious figures to bring down Donald Trump. The bombshell revelation comes from Special Prosecutor John Durham, who of course has been investigating the whole Russian collusion hoax that the legacy media peddled as factual news for 3.5 years. Durham has just released a text message that's being formally admitted into evidence that appears to establish the crucial link between the Clinton campaign and the FBI. Specifically, the unearthed text message shows Hillary Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman lying to the FBI, claiming that he was not working on behalf of any client when he presented to them anti-Trump research. The email, September 18, 2016, read, quote, "Jim," that's the FBI general counsel he's texting, "Jim, it's Michael Sussman. I have something time-sensitive and sensitive I need to discuss. Do you have availability for a short meeting tomorrow? I'm coming on my own behalf, not on behalf of a client or company. Want to help the Bureau. Thanks." Now, in his written report, Durham responded to the text saying, quote, "The defendant," that's Sussman, "lied in that meeting, falsely stating to the general counsel that he was not providing the allegations to the FBI on behalf of any client. In fact, the defendant had assembled and conveyed the allegations to the FBI on behalf of at least 2 specific clients, including a technology executive at a U.S.-based internet company and the Clinton campaign." Now, if you don't know, the technology executive, this was the bombshell that came out a few weeks back, but we now know that this guy, Michael Sussman, Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer, we now know that in addition to helping put together that fake Russian dossier that was used to justify the FBI spying on the Trump campaign, he was also involved in hiring a tech executive who was at the time helping the government combat cyber threats. So he had privileged access to internet data. And so Sussman paid this tech executive to exploit his privileged access to internet data to spy on Donald Trump. And then they would doctor the results of what they found so that the Clinton campaign could in turn peddle this misinformation to the FBI and to the media. So in other words, Sussman would take the information he was given by this surveillance, which was deliberately altered to make Trump look guilty. He would take that information along with the fraudulent dossier that was bought and paid for by the Clinton campaign, and he would run it all over to the FBI, trying to get the FBI to surveil Trump. And keep in mind, this is all going on as Hillary and her surrogates, like Jake Sullivan, who's currently the utterly incompetent national security advisor to bumbling Biden, This is all going on as Hillary and her team were feeding deliberately misleading reports about Trump and Russia to an all too willing legacy media who turned around and reported those false reports as facts. So now we've got a smoking gun that Sussman was not only passing on fraudulent information, but also in the process, he was lying about him not representing any clients in the process. Now, in admitting the evidence, Durham said in a report that he's put the courts on notice that he's prepared to show that the effort to smear Donald Trump with now totally disproven Russian collusion allegations was indeed a, quote, conspiracy. According to Durham, the Clinton campaign formed what he called a, quote, joint venture with other nefarious actors to weave together a collusion hoax deliberately aimed at debilitating Trump's ability to win in 2016, and then, of course, after he won, to deliberately hamper his presidency. And we're now getting the specifics of this conspiracy or this joint venture. And this is what really has officials in the Clinton campaign quaking in their boots. But first, how do you like my shirt? I need new conspiracies as all the old ones keep coming true. Is that not awesome? Well, you can get yours and tons others by clicking on the link below and visiting our awesome merch store. Gang, there's really no better way than to support this channel than to buying our merch as well as spreading Patriot hope abroad, and we really need your help now more than ever. So make sure to click on the link below. Go to store.turleytalks.com. That is store.turleytalks.com. All right, so Durham has been interviewing high-ranking officials from the Clinton campaign and Hillary for America, including the Clinton campaign's chair, which many believe to be John Podesta. He's interviewing them about their awareness of the activities conducted by Fusion GPS on Hillary's behalf. And this does indeed confirm that Durham is investigating whether the Clinton campaign was indeed part of a conspiracy to traffic false information to the FBI and other governmental entities. Now, for those of you who don't know, I did a video back in December called It's Official, Durham is investigating the Clinton campaign. And there I featured a filing by Durham, the special counsel's office, that revealed that, quote, a separate lawyer at the said firm is currently representing the 2016 Hillary for America presidential campaign, right, the Clinton campaign, as well as multiple former employees of that campaign, and here's the key, in matters before the special counsel. Now, it was a subtle mention, but did you catch it? According to that filing back in December, which was dealing with something else, Durham made it clear that the Clinton campaign was dealing with matters before the special counsel. So though subtle, it inescapably meant that the Clinton campaign was being investigated in some way, shape, or form by John Durham. I mean, it says it right there in the filing. We now know what those matters before the special counsel are, at least in part. Not only are we dealing with the Sussman text, but we're now also dealing with the substance of the fabricated data that was given to the FBI. And this involves something called the Alpha Bank, which is one of the more powerful banks in Russia. What the legacy media was reporting was that for several months during the 2016 campaign, the Trump organization was allegedly making all these online contacts with the bank. And so, of course, that fueled this whole notion that Trump was in cahoots with Russian interests. Of course, the Trump organization vehemently denied they had any contact whatsoever with the Alpha Bank. And so the story fizzled right after the Mueller report totally exonerated Trump. But in terms of the matters before the special counsel, we now have a report from Durham that makes it absolutely clear that the special counsel has determined that the data offered to demonstrate a link between the Trump organization and Alpha Bank was completely fabricated and falsified. The exact words used in the report are, quote, fabricated, altered, manipulated, spoofed, or intentionally generated for the purpose of creating the false appearance of communications. It's precisely this evidence that Durham has for the falsification of this data that he's now using to confront members of the Clinton campaign and to find out their involvement, direct or indirect, in the fabrication of this so-called data. That Sussman misleadingly, of course, turned over to the FBI on the one hand, and the surrogates in the Clinton campaign, including Hillary Clinton herself, fed to an all-too-willing lamestream media on the other. So it really does look like the proverbial walls are closing in on Hillary. Again, we all know how hard it is to prosecute and convict such a high-ranking member of the permanent political class. But if it were ever possible, it looks like the Durham probe may just pull it off. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how the Biden crime family is unraveling as shocking new revelations about Hunter come to the surface. You're not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.